Hey guys, I'm Ann Fuller with Payne Street Bakehouse.
And I'm Courtney Emo.
With Payne Street Bakehouse
Payne
as
Street
well,
Bakehouse,
of course. So we are doing a little early in the day, Take It From Tara, which is going to be so much fun because Anne told me on Facebook, and she also mentioned it on a text, that she has some new cool baked goods. And I want to know what your inspiration is, Anne.
Yeah, so our inspiration, I used to travel a lot for work, are in all the European bakeries that I would go to overseas. The flavors were great and the styles were great, and we're just really slowly trying to bring all of our favorites from around the world here into the bake shop. So it's pretty amazing. So we made some really amazing things so far. So our New Year's resolution for 2019 is to surround our awesome scratch-made bagels with really amazing food for all day. So what you see here is just some examples of our new pastries. We're just playing around right now. We're trying to figure out exactly what's going to be the best thing. But one of the first things we did is we made a hummingbird cake. We actually started with a triple layer cake.
And I thought you were animal friendly.
Yeah. Well, hummingbird there's a great thing. So hummingbird, for those of you who don't know what a hummingbird cake is, apparently in the late 70s, Southern Living published the first recipe for hummingbird cake, and it swept the nation. And so hummingbird cake is pineapple, banana, and our version actually comes from a European bakery which adds sweet potato and raisin, and then it's a buttercream frosting. It's got a little nut, and then we roast and grill off a pineapple for the top.
Sounds yummy.
Amazing. And then the second thing that you can kind of see here is we made a traditional French pain de raisin. So it's like, for Americans, it's a little bit like a less sweet cinnamon roll with a homemade pastry cream, a soaked raisin, and powdered sugar.
It looks beautiful.
Amazing. And then I want Courtney to talk about what she's done with our house-made biscuits. So, a lot of times when we travel around, there's just nothing better than like a fresh biscuit. So we wanted to make a fresh herb biscuit. So what you see here is our fresh oregano, fresh rosemary, and a little bit of roasted garlic, handmade biscuit. We're making these completely from scratch, sort of laminating and folding our dough as we go and baking them off. And then Courtney, I think you should talk about the amazing sandwiches that you've been making, because we've been selling out of the biscuits and we've only had them out for like 3 days.
Well, I've been eating
that's because Courtney.
I bet you have been eating quite a few, and I bet our friend John has been coming in and ordering them as well.
Oh yeah, so they are, I grew up eating biscuits. I grew up in Nashville, so I grew up with biscuits, and there's nothing better than a breakfast sandwich with biscuits. So, but the rich flavors in the garlic and the herbs called for something more than just a bacon, egg, and cheddar. And so we added some Grey Poupon mustard and smoked Gouda and bacon, and put that all together on a sandwich, and it's phenomenal. It's so good.
It sounds delicious, and you have expanded from simply serving bagels to becoming more of, I'm going to dare say it's going to be a full-service restaurant before long.
Yeah, well, our goal is to be a full-service restaurant. We really want to be the local amazing option to Panera Bread. We don't think people should ever have to eat at a chain unless you really have to.
Yeah.
So
I think that is a great idea.
yeah, and we have a full kitchen. So the other thing we've done, which you can't see here, is we've expanded our scratch-made soup line. So we have 2 scratch-made soups every day now. We're putting out salads in our case, everything from the kale crunch salad that I fell in love with in London. But we've been, in the last couple weeks of the year, we were bringing in 5 and 6 pound salmon, portioning, grilling them off, and making a pretty amazing salmon and butternut squash on arugula salad.
Oh my God, sounds so good.
Yeah, and so now we're able to do soup and sandwich combos, soup and scone combos, salad and scone combos, and the kitchen has really grown up in terms of the ingredients and the pantry we have. So it's not going to be too long, hopefully before the end of the summer, that we're able to roll out a light cafe dinner. And then we secretly this morning started playing around with this Italian pizza flour that we brought in from Italy. We have 3 bins of dough balls in the back, and we're getting ready to make a DOP tomato basil sauce. And then tomorrow we're going to start playing around with these cute little pizzas, and I won't even tell you the rest of it we're going to do with that, but hopefully that's going to work, and then we can get those into lunch as well for folks that are looking for a hot kind of made fresh lunch. So
the good thing about the soups too is that you guys have frozen soups that people can pick up, buy, and take home, and that's what I do. Is I bring one home, and then later on, when I don't feel like cooking, I just rock out the Payne Street Bakehouse, home of Nancy's Bagels soup, and make it last for the whole weekend.
Yeah, we're actually special ordering soup too. So just yesterday we made a gallon of soup out of rotation just for a customer that called in, because she calls in and takes 4 quarts at a time. And then tomorrow we're serving our kind of famous garlic soup by request from a customer who called and said, when can I come in and get garlic soup? So wow. I think the soups are kind of this, they're getting this quiet name throughout the city. And, Nancy had always started those at the bagel shop, and it was great. And so we've expanded that menu and the rotation now. So we're doing everything from I think on the list soon is a Thai red curry chicken soup. And we've done some other vegetarian soups. This Russian chowder that we just put out sold out immediately. We're roasting off our own tomatoes now for our roasted tomato bisque. Wow. So the soups, they've just been great. We've been expanding out of strictly vegetarian and chicken, we ran a spicy chorizo chili in the fall. So there's something for everybody now in the soup line.
And you're doing a lot of local sourcing, which I think is great, as much as you possibly can, and that's what sets you apart from Panera.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and
any chain, everything starts from scratch in the back, right?
Everything sets you apart from Panera too. No offense, but it's like I'm a huge fan, and you guys know that I've been coming to Nancy's since before Courtney was born. And how old are you?
25 in March.
Well, see, it's about that, right? We celebrated your birth with Nancy's Bagels. That's what it was. So I think that one of the cool things about what you guys do is you have such personalized service at the counter. I'm just going to go ahead and show our friends up here at the counter.
They're incredible. I've got an incredible team up there.
Sweet. They're very cute. And they're hiding behind the counter where you can barely see them, but that's okay. But this is where it's all happening. You order your food.
It really is where the magic happens.
You order your food up here, and you work your way down the line, and all you have to do is whip out a credit card and pay the bill, and there you go. And this is a neat new environment too. Nancy's was up on Frankfort Avenue for many, many years, and then circumstances required us to relocate, and it worked out beautifully because this is a really cool place. It's the old Willinger's Beer Depot, and I think that just in general, the vibe is cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so fun. I've never been encouraged to play with my food until I came here. And that is all Anne encourages me to do. I've been able to get really creative with menu items and really be able to see what the customer wants. I love the people that come through here dearly.
Yes, we love you too.
And it's been amazing to kind of gauge what they want and be able to roll with that and come in with stuff that the sandwich we have a special on now, the hiking sandwich is the sandwich I grew up. We'd go on hikes and I'd make that sandwich.
What is it?
Take it with me. It's our new pesto bagel.
Yeah.
And then balsamic, pesto, roasted red peppers, and mozzarella.
Yeah. A real mozzarella. And it's great because so Courtney's amazing because a lot of times we come up with great things in the kitchen, but they really need to be taken to the next level here, right? So we sort of give her the foundation, and then we're like, hey, Court, here's a pesto bagel. I want you to eat your way through the menu and make the most amazing sandwich on a pesto bagel that you can make. And she's like, okay, but you got to give me fresh mozz, and I got to have a good roasted red pepper. And we're like, awesome, here you go.
It's great.
So she's the sandwich genius, if anybody has any doubt.
But our politicians could take a lesson in negotiation from you. That's awesome, Courtney. Good job. You keep negotiating for those fresh sourced foods. So how did you learn to cook?
Trial and error.
Yeah?
My grandma's an amazing cook. My mom is a phenomenal cook. She just pulls stuff out of the pantry, and now I'm realizing I can do that. Everybody turns into their mother, right? Yeah, here I am, pulling stuff out of the pantry and making great food with it. So a lot of it's trial and error. A lot of it is feedback from the customers, and just playing around with it, eating everything. trying everything.
And staying thin as you do it.
I run. I live in Anne's neighborhood. I run every day.
Should we get to the most important part? Should we do the taste testing?
Oh yeah.
All right, who's going to eat with me?
So I've eaten all morning, but we're gonna literally starting at like 6 a.m. we were tasting pastry
Good
cream.
God, woman, you're just killing me
So
here.
let me just show you what we've got.
Do
So-
cut some up because you've got the
Okay,
ability
so
to do it.
I'm going to move you from savory into sweet because that's the best way to go.
Yes.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I want you to taste the savory biscuit.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to break the biscuit open.
I'm going to put this mic on you for just a second.
Okay.
It's a little bit easier if you do this.
Okay.
Okay. Because
So
you'll hear me screaming my delight.
okay.
right.
So the beauty in our biscuits too is they're big and they're generous. So we're going to break this biscuit open, and if you look at what makes a great biscuit, it's just a super soft crust on the outside, but it's really light because we have a process of sort of laminating the dough as we do it, and they're all hand formed. So I'm going to give you a bite of this, Tara. There you go. Courtney's had some, but she won't refuse.
Absolutely delicious.
Yep. So there's your biscuit. So like we said, we've got folks that come in and
Yummy.
can just get a biscuit with butter, and we're bringing in a local honey, and then also Courtney's Not Your Mama's biscuit sandwich, right? So we'll give you that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move you into the pain de raisin.
Okay, so what you've done is you've done what you do with children. You teach them to eat their vegetables first because then they get used to the savory, and then you give them the sweet.
Yes, absolutely.
That's
Of
right.
course,
Yeah.
of course,
That's
of
a
course.
good technique to use with me.
Yeah, of course, right? But the other thing I will say is we use only fresh herbs in the biscuit. We've tried dried herbs, but they have an acidic taste that sits in the back of your mouth, and it's just not good. So we start only with fresh. So, and the pain de raisin is, I don't know, Tara, if you've recently had like a really fresh pastry cream, but it's delicious. So we're going to cut that open for you. All right, I'm going to give you some of this. And then here's a bite. You should eat that one with the raisin. All right. So this is basically like a house-made cinnamon roll, except it's a European roll. So it's not crazy sweet like Americans or processed food.
Oh my God!
Isn't it? That's my reaction when I first tried it.
So good.
I could have wept.
Yummy.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'll take the big piece.
So
Out of this world.
yeah, and it's great with coffee, tea, but it is to die for.
That's really good.
Right. And then today, this is the very first batch of eclairs we've ever made in the shop. Right here,
Like
right
my
now.
coworkers came in at 11:30 and they were like, "You didn't call me and tell me we have eclairs now."
So
Yeah.
here's a bite of eclair. I'm gonna eat, but then I can't talk. So there's your eclair.
I haven't tried it yet. It's amazing.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, it's great. The only problem now is this is what I ate before I ever got to, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what a really fresh baked eclair is, because it was made and baked this morning. It's great. And then lastly,
The pièce de résistance.
yeah. So this is the Hummingbird Cake,
Oh boy.
right? With
no
the how
hummingbirds were harmed in the making
no
of this
hummingbirds were harmed. But I'll cut you this.
cake. Now, Courtney, were you responsible for any of these in particular?
The biscuit I had the most effect on. The pastries I will try and give feedback, but I let them do their thing on that, and I bring it to the front. And then I can attest to how good it is because I've eaten every single one at least once a day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Sorry about that. So when we had the hummingbird layer cake. We put it out right before New Year's Eve, so we were closed the next day. So I unfortunately had to take the last couple pieces home.
Oh no!
And I kept them in the fridge, and I just had to eat off of it all the time. It was amazing.
Well, as I said when I promoted this, it's a dirty job.
Somebody's got to
do it.
Right.
And it might as well be me.
Right.
Oh my God, that is so good.
Yeah, so I think what we're trying to do is to have a range from sort of earthy, super satisfying savory to, really a depth of flavor in the hummingbird cake to the pastries, the eclair and the pain de raisin, but they're satisfying in a deep way. They're not just satisfying in a I just had a big bite of sugar way, right? So there's a depth of flavor to all of them. So this is just what we're playing around with right now. Next week it might be different. We might have different things out. I think part of what we're trying to do is to let our bakers be really creative and to make sure that there's always something for somebody to discover. I get so tired when I walk into chain places and it's always the same 3 or 4 things. And this is a really different thing. So we've got a full kitchen staff. We're using every aspect of every piece of produce and herb that we bring in, and I think it's just yummy.
Creativity.
Just yummy.
A lot of creativity.
Yeah, a lot of creativity by everybody.
Well, give me that mic back. I have this to say about that. If I were to give you a priority order in which I would order these, I would say 1, 1, 1, and 1. Because there's no way that you could choose between which one of these was the best. Now the taste is different, obviously. I don't like savory, and that is absolutely delicious. This is out of this world. I got to turn it around so everybody can see. It's like a different layer of things. And then this is just killer. Now that is something that would be perfect to order, a half a dozen of or so for a dinner treat if you've got some friends coming over, and just cut the thing up and serve it, because if you probably ate the whole one, you'd be in diabetic shock. I mean, it's delicious. And this, I think if you've never made an eclair before and that's your first try, I can't believe how delicious it is. Good job, Ann and Courtney and crew at Payne Street Bakehouse.
Thanks. It's all about the folks in the kitchen and the boarding. I mean, I don't do anything except get out of their way.
You're an inspiring leader. And the ideas come from the top, and the buck stops there. So I'm glad you're in charge, and that you've continued the wonderful Nancy's Bagel theme into Payne Street Bakehouse. And by the way, we want to say hi to Nancy.
Yes, Nancy's doing great. I just came from seeing Nancy, actually. She had a hip replacement. For those of you who don't know, that was part of the reason Nancy wanted to retire, to focus on her health. And so I'm amazed. She completely had her hip replaced yesterday afternoon, and today she's sitting up and she looks like $1,000,000, and the first thing I took her was an everything bagel.
There you go.
Look at that.
That's what she needed. That's going to be the thing that heals the quickest. So listen, let's just say real quick, I'm going to give a quick shout out to some of the folks who are here with us, and I just totally knocked my camera over, but the people who have been watching from the beginning and salivating: Catherine Rice, Todd Heil, Terry Chambers is with us, Maria Whitley. Hi, Nia Maria. Logan Sampson. Hey, my friend Kelly Denham Cockerham from Portland, Oregon is watching.
Hi, everybody.
Sarah Gray is watching. Jarena Faulkner, Kim Kelly, Dr. Francis Weinstock, Tracy Sproul's mother of Tiny Heroes Therapy Miniature Horses, Philip Cherry, and anchor John Young, news anchor John Young. So thanks you guys for tuning in. Please share it, and come on down and see the Payne Street Bakehouse, proud home of Nancy's Bagels. It's in the Spring Street, Payne Street corner, and it's the old Willinger's Beer Depot, because we always have to describe everything in Louisville by what doesn't live there anymore.
Exactly.
But you're going to love it. Come on down,
Absolutely.
come on
Come
down
see
and
us.
taste these delicious treats. My God, what a day it started out for me.